Just a quick disclaimer before we go any further with the video. I've been noticing recently that throughout the video, the camera has been switching focus between me and the microphone. I'm going to try and sort that for future videos. I apologise if it's annoying. I've seen a couple of people bring it up in the comments. It's frustrating for me as well when editing, so I will have it sorted hopefully come the future videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a special edition. I say special, there's nothing special about it. The fact is it's on a Thursday. That makes it special. Welcome to the back pages. I decided today, let's dive into what the papers are saying, the media is saying in regards to Celtic versus Hearts last night. A controversial one, to say the least. A lot of people getting their knickers in a twist. So let's just sit down, let's see what's been said, and as always, as part of the back pages series, let me give my opinion to what the mainstream is saying. Before we go any further with the video, please make sure to smash that big red subscribe button down below the video. We're making some great progress on the road to 31,000 subscribers. It would be massive if we can hit that landmark before the new year. So if you haven't, if you're new to the channel or for some reason you just haven't done it already, please drop down below, hit the subscribe button, and while you're there, hit the like button. It goes a long way for the channel. You know, there's a lot of controversy around this game last night, to say the least. The goal, whether it was on or offside, you know, should Celtic have won? Robbie Neilson was in tears. It was delicious. You've seen my match reaction last night. I spoke on Robbie Neilson's reaction to the game. He didn't seem too pleased. I thought Ange Postecoglou's reaction was absolutely brilliant. Look, Robbie Neilson comes out and says the referee won the game. Celtic didn't win the game. Ange Postecoglou's quite right in saying Celtic were the far better team. We dominated the game. We did. You know, if we were more clinical, we would have had 2 or 3. So it's all very well and good, Hearts saying that a goal separated it and they might have had their chat. Like, Celtic dominated the game. We got the 3 points we deserved and that's it. There's no point crying about it. And I think that the one thing I want to touch on, before we even get started on the reaction from the newspapers, the reaction from Chris Boyd, the reaction from anybody else, no Robbie Neilson, Ange Postecoglou, anybody. Look, the goal might have been offside. Okay, right? It's a very tight one to call. Right, people are making out as if it was 3-4. I've seen quotes saying it was 3 or 4 yards off. It's not 3 or 4 yards offside. And it's a hard one. Look, you're a linesman, right? Okay, he's made a mistake. If it's offside, fair play. Referees make mistakes. We know what the standard of refereeing is like in this country. But people are making out as if it was a clear and obvious error and he was miles off. It's about that, innit? Christ almighty, we see this all the time in football, but this one has been blown into dramatic proportions for some reason. He's offside, fair enough, right? The ball's in the back of the net at the end of the day. We win the game 1-0. We hear this all the time about how all these decisions, you know, sort of equal themselves out come the end of the season. Pundits say it all the time. That's exactly what's happened here. People get offside goals all the time in Scotland. We don't have VAR, and we'll come on to talk about that. We don't have VAR. We don't have any sort of technology that can reverse these decisions. The linesman hasn't spotted it's offside and that's it. But the narrative that people are creating, that Kyogo's about 5 yards offside, is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Because you look at some of the stills from the goal, and a couple of them, you know, you're trying to work out if it is, because at one point the ball looks as though it's past Kyogo, which would mean it would be onside. But then another, it's a difficult one. The linesman's got it wrong and that's it. Look, the game's done. Celtic got the 3 points. Grow up. You know, it's a game of football. Mistakes happen. That's the beauty of football, and that's what we keep saying when we look at the VAR down in England. How many times have we seen ourselves moan up here about how VAR's destroying the game down south? And how baffling some of the decisions are, and all the lines and everything, the way they're drawing it. How many times up here have we gotten our high horse about it? And suddenly Chris Boyd's out asking for fucking lines. Probably not the only lines he wants. So, actually, do you know what? Let's turn this back pages into a wee bit on what Boyd was saying last night. Do you see him on the telly on Wednesday night? Giving it soft-boiled egg or a hard-boiled egg, it's still an egg. He's talking about the penalty for Rangers. Because there was debate whether or not it was a hard or soft penalty, whatever. So he's giving it out about eggs. Don't know why eggs is the comparison, but it is. And then last night, a totally normal reaction from Chris Boyd. That's about 2.5 minutes he ranted on. You seen Stan Petrov's face come the end of it. 2.5 minutes he's ranting on about this goal, and he's sitting shouting for VAR in Scottish football. And look, we're not getting VAR in Scottish football. And I think, you know, Rangers are a club, and look, I've done extremely well, I think, over the past couple of years on YouTube, not to be one of these fans who come on and constantly want to create this referee narrative and constantly blame refs for this. I'm not, look, whatever happens, happens. Que sera, sera. That's the way I look at football. Decisions, the standard of refereeing in Scotland is piss poor. I've come to expect nothing more of Scottish refereeing, and I expect poor decisions in every game every week. I'm a totally normal person to it all. I don't come out with all these conspiracies and all the rest of it. But if you look over the past couple of years, VAR is probably something that Rangers fans wouldn't want. That's I mean, I'm not good. And Celtic fans, I don't want it. I'm so anti. It's became like the vaccine at this point. You're either pro VAR or anti VAR, and I'm so anti VAR. I hate it. I think it destroys the soul of the game. I think it takes away the beauty of the game. Mistakes have become such a part of football. And yes, a lot of people say, well, it could be even better if we take it out of it. I have watched the Premier League now since VAR has been introduced, and it's ruined the game. It's ruined the game down south, and I'll stick to that. I think it's destroyed it. All the hesitation, the pausing of the game, and okay, sometimes it gives teams justice, and it gives them the results they deserve and such, but, like, we've known this game for so long, and we know the beauty of football. All teams in the world have had their ups and downs. Some of them have came through probably decisions that shouldn't have stood. And I just think that's a part of the game. And I think over the past couple of years, there's some great moments that would have been ripped away from teams if it was for VAR up here. And Chris Boyd has lost the rag last night over this. Rangers are still 4 points clear, keep in mind. And Chris Boyd is losing his marbles over that goal going in the back of the net, as if Chris Boyd's never scored a goal that was offside in his life. Or as if Rangers haven't had a decision that have benefited them in their life. It swings and roundabouts, man. And say your piece. Say, okay, I thought it was offside and that was it. He's making out as if Kyogo's murdered the man in the middle of the box. It was only an offside. It was a goal. And it's in the back of the net. It may or may not have been offside. Get on with your job and talk about elsewhat. I think he's went berserk last night over absolutely fuck all. I better not say absolutely fuck all, because, Robbie Nielsen won't agree with that. He won't at all. Robbie Nielsen wasn't happy, and that's one of the things that's said about in the back pages. Victory at a cost. Hoops lose 3-0 to injury as Robbie rages at winner. Celtic cut the gap at the top of the Premiership table to 4 points with a controversial victory over Hearts last night, but also lose 3 players to injury. And I think that's one of the major talking points of last night's game. The 3 points at the end of the day is the most important thing, and Celtic need to keep winning games and keep the pressure on at the top of the table. But those 3 injuries, the 3 players who went off the park, is massive, and we spoke about that in last night's 3 things. We've learned this is going to be a tough month now for Celtic to get through this entire month, trying to keep players fit, trying to keep players at a fitness level where they can play every 3 days. It's going to be really tough. It's a test for Ange Postecoglou, and that was sort of the first hurdle. That was the first game of December. We've still got another 8 to go in this month alone. How many times are we going to see players hit the ground with injury? How many times are we going to have to make substitutions, be forced into changes we don't want to make? And how many times are we going to be looking at the next game, players down from our best 11? It's going to be a whirlwind of a month for Celtic, and it's something that's going to be difficult to manage. I'm just glad that we're hearing, we heard after the match last night, they don't look, Ralston and Jota don't look anything too serious. But, I feel like every time I see a player hit the deck at Celtic Park, I'm like, not again. I would just like to... Gavin McCafferty wrote the article on the match report, and I would just like to highlight his wording here. The Japanese forward looked to be marginally offside. Can we keep in mind marginally here, right? I'm not saying... I think a lot of Rangers fans have taken a normal reaction to it because they don't really care. Their team won and that's that. But there's a lot of Rangers fans on social media and on Twitter over the past 24 hours who are making it out as if he was miles off. That was the point I wanted to highlight at the start of the video. Marginally offside. This happens all the time in football. It's nothing new. A marginally offside goal, right? Calm down. And I know it's a difference between 3 points and dropping points, but at the end of the day, Celtic were the much better team. They got what they deserved in the game, and I feel like, I know we only scored that one. We'd have probably got a goal anyway, I think, and we had chances in the game, but we were just so much better, and I think Celtic got what they deserved. Ultimately. Nielsen also had his go on the Jota incident. Just to quote Robbie Nielsen, he says, "I've never seen anything like it in my life. The boy pulls his hamstring, the referee stops the game and gives them the ball back when we're going to counter-attack. But that's Scottish football. You're in Glasgow." The narrative being pushed, of course, that the Glaswegian teams get the better of the decisions. Robbie Nielsen didn't take it well at all. Totally normal, as I said, just like Boyd, totally normal. And he went on, and then Ange, talking about the goal. This is Ange's quote, in case you haven't heard it. "It's a goal, mate. you've got to have the mate in there. It's a goal, mate. I'll let it go and let our performance speak for itself. If people think the referee decided that game, well, that's their analysis, and I think he's spot on. And look, I know I'm a Celtic fan, and of course I'm going to come out and back my manager, and I'm going to say that Robbie Nielsen's talking nonsense. That's natural. Fans of Hearts, fans of Rangers will be going the other way. That's football. It's a fickle game up here. Look, what do you come to expect? You know, I think that we see this back and forth all the time. What am I going to do? Am I going to come out and support Robbie Nielsen in that decision? Absolutely not. Of course not. But I'm just spot on. If people think the referee decided that game, it's nonsense. Celtic were the better team. Celtic got the 3 points because they were the better team, because they worked harder and they played better. That's the reality. Accept it. But the podcast is going to be fun tomorrow, you know, when we sit down and we talk about, you know, this VAR stuff and all the Chris Boyd reaction in far greater depth and all this. I can't wait to talk about it more depth. I can't wait to have a conversation with the people on the panel, because I just feel like everything has been blown out of a massive... It's like a war crime is being committed by the reaction of some folk on social media and in the mainstream media as well. Celtic won. We got 3 points. Deal with it. Like and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.